Hi guys, it is Erin or Gimme Yarn 418 and I am here with my Thank God It's Finished or TGIF video. It's been about 3 weeks, just a little over 3 weeks since my last video, so I have quite a few things to show you. This week I'm going to show you my finished objects, the things I'm working on, and some stash enhancements. So, I guess we'll just get started. The first thing I have to show you is when I started the whip along with, I pulled out 3 blankets that all I had left to do was weave in all the ends. And 1 I've given away already, and 2 I have, but they're put away for now. But I'm going to insert a picture first here of the first blanket. It had like a million ends that I needed to weave in. So that's going to be here. So yeah, that was like weaving in end heck. We'll say heck. And the next thing I did was, last year Bruno hosted a crochet along for a mile a minute blanket from Bob Wilson 123, and I made 2 of them, but I didn't weave in any of the ends. So here is a picture of all 3 blankets finished, folded up on my couch, because it was the best way to show you what they looked like. So I will insert a picture of that here. The next finished object I also do not have with me. My mother-in-law requested a hat, a warm hat. I think we give her one about once a year. And I said, well, how about a wool hat? And she said, oh, I'd love a wool hat. So I had recently got the Girl from Nantucket hat and decided to cast that on. I knit it out of wool of the Andes. I can't remember the name of the color. It's a gray, and she's already gotten it and she loves it, but I will insert a picture of that here. The last finished object that I don't have a photo of, that I don't have actually in my possession, also went to my mother-in-law, and it was a pair of knit fingerless gloves. They're the Bon Bon mitts. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I knit it out of Knit Picks palette in the color Pool, and I couldn't get a good representation of the color in photo, so I only have a black and white photo, but it's a pretty nice photo. I actually like it, and I will insert a picture of those here. So those are the finished objects that I don't have with me. I do have a couple of finished objects with me. I have a list here so I don't forget anything. The first finished object I have, a friend of mine, his son had wanted a pair of mittens, and her son had wanted a pair of mittens, and so I said, sure, I can make you a pair of mittens, and they're just a simple pair of mittens. And I'm recording on a new camera, so I'm hoping you can see things and I don't have to re-record this. This is just a basic mitten pattern, so these will be going out in the mail this week. This is just knit out of Red Heart yarn. The next finished object is just a single crochet, double crochet, infinity scarf, and I don't want to put it on because I feel like it makes me look like I have 15 chins, more than I already have, but I'll put it on anyway. Ta-da! I'm going to take it off. And I started this a while ago, like right after Christmas, just because I had never made one, so I said, what the heck. The next finished object I have is for my whip along with Gimme Yarn. This is a baby blanket. It's a free pattern from Bernat, which I will put in the description below. And this has been sitting for over a year. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a diamond pattern with a puff stitch. And it's really pretty, and I like it, and I'm glad I finished it. There was no reason for not finishing it other than I just had other stuff going on. So there's that. Let's see, blankets, mitts, mittens, cowl, Nantucket hat. Okay, the next thing I have is 2 more Binky Buddies. The first one I was attempting to make a Mia Binky Buddy, but I think it looks more like a kangaroo because I don't know, it's just the proportions are off. But it came out really cute and I still like it, and So there is the Mia the Kangaroo blanket buddy. And then that's knit out of, not knit, crocheted out of Red Heart is the beige, and I think the pink is Bernat Super Value, but I'm not sure. Next I made a bear Binky Buddy, and this is actually knit out of yarn that Bruno sent me from Argentina. It's called Nube Baby. That's the peach, and the white is Bernat Baby Coordinates, and it's just a little bear, and it has a hair on it. And I think it came out pretty cute, and I like the yarn. It was fun to work with. I held it double. And that's my last finished object. I guess we'll move on to what I'm currently working on. The first thing I'm working on is a pair of leg warmers for my cousin's daughter. This is not even the full thing, the full leg warmer. Just kind of going on the measurements that she gave me. The two darker pinks are Red Heart with Love, and the lighter pink is Red Heart Super Saver. And it's coming out pretty cute. I have a couple more stripes to do on the first one, and then I have to do the second one. That's the first. The second thing I am actually knitting, this is out of, let's see if I can find the Liberty Wool Classic, Liberty Wool by Classic Elite Yarns, and it's a gradual color changing yarn. And I am knitting, I think it's called the Misty Hat. And I love how it's coming out. I hope you can see it. It has like a mock cable that's worked with a slip stitch and a yarn over and slip the stitch over 2 knits. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. When I do my links, I will put it in the description below. The only change I had is it started, once you cast on, it had you start doing the mock cable immediately. And I did 1 row of knit 3, purl 2 just to give it a good stable base. And I'm glad I did, because I like the base of it. And this hat will be for me, and because it matches my my vest, my down vest that I wear. And I'm hoping to have this finished tomorrow. The next thing, I hadn't worked on any socks yet this year, so I pulled out some yarn that Kristen gave me last year for Christmas. This is Knit Picks Felici Sport in the recessed color. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. These are not my colors per se, but I love how they're coming out. And I knit this sock in 1 day. Yes, it still needs a heel, but I knit it in 1 day. This is the My Knitted Heart Vanilla Sock pattern, and I am doing it with an afterthought heel from the cuff down. And I have teeny tiny feet, so I only have to knit a size 5. So that's probably why I got it done in 1 day. So I'm hoping to have these finished this week also. The next thing I'm working on is the Sparkly Blanket of Awesomeness. This is knit out of Red Heart Shimmer in 3 different colors. And there goes my hook. It's knit out of Ivory, Purple, very original names, Hot Pink, and I'm going to call this Teal because I don't have the ball band with me, but that's okay. And I've gotten 2 more stripes done, or 3 more stripes, I'm not sure. And I love it, and I can't wait for it to be finished. This is part of my whip along, but I don't think I'm going to get this done in time, which is fine. 1 second, I got to pick up that paper. And my final work in progress is my sweater, which is the Stillwell by Jared Flood. It is a pay pattern on Ravelry, and I am knitting it out of wool from the sheep farm down the road, Yates Farm. And let's see. First, I have finished the body of the sweater up to where you add the sleeves in. And I have knit the first sleeve, and I have some co-hosts apparently, and according to what the pattern says, this sleeve is somehow going to attach to the sweater. I have yet to see how that is going to happen, but I am deciding to have blind faith because a lot of other people do it all the time. So that's what I have. My goal is to have, well, my first goal was to have it finished by the end of March. Then my goal was to have it done by the end of this week, which didn't happen. And my new goal was to have it done by February 1st, which is not going to happen. So my new goal is to have it done by the end of February. And that's all I have for works in progress. So next we'll do stash enhancement and another small project I did that goes along with stash or buying something new. The first thing I got was 2 skeins from Hiawassee Creek Dye Works, and I will put a link in the description below to their Etsy shop. And the first thing I got was an Aran Weight semi-solid, which is 181 yards of superwash merino, and my intention for this was something baby. I don't know if that's what's going to be. I actually thought I was buying fingering weight, but I bought Aran, which is totally fine. I can still use it. I had never bought from her before, and the color weight is pecan, or pecan. I don't know how everyone says it. There's her card. And the other skein I got is called Cranberry Chutney Merino Sock Tonal. It's 490 yards of a fingering weight of 100% superwash merino. So this won't be socks because I like to have some nylon in my socks. But I do have a sweater in mind for a baby sweater that I could knit with this. Probably 2 of them. The Maylee cardigan is free pattern on Ravelry. And not my typical colors, but I just love the red. It's tonal reds, all different, intensities of the red. And that's all I bought. I did buy a couple skeins from Big Lots of the dollar yarn, but nothing really worth showing. The last thing I have to show you is I used to keep my interchangeable needles in this from Erin Lane bags, but the magnets have traveled up to the tip and I can no longer secure it. Not only that, if my dog gets this, then there are needles everywhere. So I wanted, well, this is wonderful. I still love it. And if I can fix it, maybe I will gift it to somebody else that needs one. Anyway, I'm babbling. So this wasn't working for me anymore. So what I did was I went to Staples and I bought a better binder. This is one of the smaller ones. It doesn't tell me the size. It's a smaller one, and it's a 1 inch binder. I really wish it said the size, but it's the smaller binder. And I went to the Martha Stewart section of Staples and I bought some page protectors, and I bought these ones specifically. I'll show you when I open it because they close, and these are for a 5.5 by 8.5 inch binder, which is exactly what I wanted. Eventually I'm going to put something on the front. I've labeled it with my interchangeable needles, and inside these are the pockets, and you can see the pockets have a flap so the needles are not going to fall out. And I labeled each with the millimeter and the US size, and I figured that it works out perfectly for me. Not only that, I don't have any 15s or 17s yet, but I was able to put my cables in labeled pockets, which is great because typically I am measuring my cables to make sure I'm using the right size, and this makes it so much easier for me. In this Erin Lane organizer, there is a pocket for the cables, but there's no way to differentiate which size cable it is. I also got some business card pockets, and I have one for my cable key, for cable extenders, which I don't have yet, stitch markers, and cable stoppers. And then I have my needle gauge. And I'm really pleased with this. And for less than $20, all of my needles are organized and secure, and I can put them right on my table and not worry that anybody is going to damage them or lose them, because I don't know. You can't see in here, but I only have one size 7 tip. I don't know what happened to the other size 7 tip. I'm sure it's floating around the house somewhere, but I can't find it anywhere. Now I won't have that problem. So that is all I have for this week. I'm so glad that you came by to watch my little video, and I hope everyone's having a great January. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.